Traffic, news, and information. Nooga Radio, digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM.
Areas of rain will continue through your afternoon, mainly on the light side, but still quite wet. Highs into the lower 60s, becoming breezy late tonight. Finally drying out, lows 38 to 40. More sun, breezy, cool Friday. Highs mid upper 50s, a light breeze possible by Saturday morning. The chilly weather is coming back, so let the Don City Ski Shop keep you and your family warm with the largest selection of cold weather clothing around. From infants to adults, they have it at Don City Ski Shop, East Brainerd Road, Chattanooga. And I'm 1412 meteorologist at
95.3 HD4, 92.7 FM.
J.R. Masonry in Chattanooga salutes the men and women of our armed forces. Let's remember them by continuing to donate blood for our returning injured military. Be a silent hero and give blood today. This reminder is from J.R. Masonry in Chattanooga. Family owned and operated for anything stone and all your masonry work. Call J.R. Masonry at 423-829-0355. They're on the air reminding everyone that we live in the land of the free thanks to the brave.
Nooga Radio, digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM knows your opinion is important. So call 800-8949. Agree or disagree. Call 423-800-8949. 800-8949. Nooga Radio, 92.7 FM and 95.3 HD4. News Talk, Nooga Radio.
Hey, it's the Cindy's Choice Show. You're listening live on 92.7 FM, and you may be listening on 95.3 FM HD4. Maybe tune in radio or Shoutcast, YouTube, and I'm hoping I can get reconnected to Facebook here pretty quick. I am Cindy, and it is Cindy's choice to make a positive impact in our community. And it is Cindy's choice to be brave and make a difference. I have a great guest with me here today that has demonstrated that very well in our community. Mr. Emerson Russell with, I'm not going to say with ERMC because you're with so many things, Emerson, but thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you for the invite.
Awesome. A quick shout out before we get started. Cindy's Choice for a great catering option. Chicken Salad Chick, Chattanooga.com, Chicken Salad Chick, Chattanooga.com, 423-781-1330. There's 3 locations here in town, downtown, with a great curbside pickup. We've got the Gun Barrel location over by Target, and then there's the location actually in Erlanger Mall. Very well received over there at Erlanger. What I love to shout out, besides the 12 varieties of great chicken salad to choose from, I love that the Classic Carol is 0 carbs, 0 sugar, 0 gluten, so you can make a healthy choice as well. Chicken Salad Chick, Chattanooga.com. Now, I'm going to jump right in with Emerson here. Emerson, it is that you are very well identified with your business, ERMC, but there's a lot of things you do that I want to get into. But you've been on my radar for a while because of what I'm doing. Everyone is, people are constantly going, you need to meet Emerson Russell. You need to meet Emerson Russell. So it's really nice. I didn't want to call you and sound like one of those crazy stalker people because I'm sure that happens plenty. So it's worked out in the right time to get to meet you. And now I'm very honored to have you on the show. And so tell us a little bit about ERMC.
Well, I'm honored to be here with you today also. And it was a pleasure to meet you. But ERMC operates in 38 states. We just recently merged with Secure America, and we're now the 5th largest security company in the world.
Wow, the 5th largest.
Yeah, employing a little over 8,800 employees.
And I was bragging about you having over 5,000. So I'm like, when you told me that, I was like, oh my goodness. In ERMC, like I said, I'm a Texas girl. I'm Chattanooga by choice, and
you made a good choice.
Exactly. My 3rd time back. My 3rd time is to stay. Never wanted to leave before, but it was like family reasons. But I love Chattanooga. But Texas girl at heart, and I was familiar somewhat when I got here and was hearing about ERMC. I knew it was familiar, and since I'd been gone from Chattanooga for 10 years, I was thinking, I don't know why I thought it was familiar, but now it makes sense because you were in, didn't you say you're in 38 states?
Yes.
So that's amazing.
Yeah.
So what's amazing?
We do a lot of work in Texas.
Oh, that's exactly.
One of your other favorite cities.
And
yes. States.
Yes. And I am a Texas girl at heart, Chattanooga by choice. But I'm going to get back there in Cindy's Choice. You've heard it right here. Cindy's Choice will go national. And I will be back in Houston and in DFW and Austin and San Antonio. And I just want to give a quick shout out. They're having rodeo in Houston right now. And I missed that time. It's 21 days of the largest rodeo in the world, I believe. And I was a gatekeeper.
Oh, wow.
I know. So I really missed that time. So I want to give a shout out to my rodeo friends. Hold on. I'm a little distracted. I'm messing with Facebook. Okay. I think I got it straightened out. So Emerson, I want to get into your story because it's very fascinating. It's always you're not afraid of hard work. And I think that's a story that needs to be shared more than ever. But then you understood the transition of you're still working hard even when you're delegating and managing. And I love that because a lot of managers and owners can never be as successful as they could be if they don't learn to let go. But you actually started working when you were 8 years old.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that.
I live next door to Mostella's Garage down on Main Street. And Mr. Mostella, who I call Granddaddy Mostella, we were no kin, but I felt that close to him. He lived between us and the garage. And he built a new house out in East Ridge. He tore his house down there to enlarge the garage. And so he paid me a penny a piece to clean the brick with a hatchet at 8 years old. And I cleaned an average of 600 brick a week.
Wow.
While going to school and during the summer, etc. And I'd give my mother $3. I would spend $1.50, and I'd keep $1.50.
That's what I love about. I mean, it's awesome that you were working at an early age. I was working early, but I didn't manage my money as well as you did.
When I got all of the brick clean, I aggravated him to death to the point where that he agreed to let me clean the garage for $6 a week. So I stayed on and cleaned the garage. Sweeping it and scrubbing it down, getting the grease up and those kind of things, and helping clean the mechanics tools, and just trying to make it a cleaner and nicer place to work in and the environment for customers to come in.
Exactly, but I wonder if you realized at that time when you were doing such humble work as a child, how much you were really learning and soaking in about business. Do you recognize that when you look back?
Not really.
What instilled the entrepreneurship in you?
Well, I always, even at the garage as a kid, I wanted to learn more and wanted to do more. And I started helping the mechanics repair the cars and helping do everything that I could there. And I helped in the body shop. And I'd sand the cars down, help them get them ready for paint and taping them up and those kind of things. And I learned a lot at a very early age. And by the time I was 12 years old, I could rebuild an automatic transmission, rebuild a motor, paint a car. And it just, one thing led to another. And that's the same way that I've tried to live my life throughout all of my life so far. Is what else can I do to serve my customers?
Exactly. That's awesome. And I love too, because we will talk more. Emerson is the car enthusiast, and he has a car dealership here in town, and we're going to talk more about that. So I can kind of start to see where that started with you cleaning and working on the cars from the very get-go. But you actually had your own. You were buying and selling cars, is that right? When you were a teenager?
Well, when I turned 19, I opened up my own car lot. It was Main Street Paint and Body Shop and Russell Auto Sales right on Main Street, just a few blocks from Mostella's Garage. And at that time, you had to be 21 to sign titles and put property in your name or whatever. And my dad was a very conservative gentleman, and you didn't buy anything on credit. You had to pay for everything that you got. And so I had saved my money up, went into business and doing that. By the time I was 21, I had a little over $500,000 out on credit on buy here, pay here.
Wow.
Yeah. But
you're old enough to
I did make my first loan when I was 15, unbeknownst to my dad. A guy that worked at the garage there, he had got married and was in the process of a divorce and wanted to sell all of his furniture. His wife had gone back to Florida, and he owed on it. So I went to the bank. I had money. I could have paid it off, but I assumed his loan at 15 years old at Ridgeville Bank.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's just awesome. And what I'm recognizing is just how, the footprint, the foundation was set so early on all the things that you would be able to do. So, and that's a lot. That's what I love about your story, because it helps. I didn't have that kind of foundation, but I've rebuilt that for myself. And the choices you made early on, wow! I'm like, if I'd only known, if I'd only had that understanding. So you might have done some things behind your father's back, but it sounded like to me he did pretty good with however he helped secure your foundation and your work ethic.
Now, the only reason I bought the furniture was we didn't have a TV, and his furniture had a TV in it. So,
true confessions here on Cindy's Choice. I love it. So how did you get from dealing with cars to your next business? Was that the polygraphy? Did I saying that right? Polygraph?
Yes.
How did all that come about?
Well, I was doing some work on the state vehicles, police vehicles in my paint and body shop, and one of the lieutenants, he kept saying, "Oh, you need to come down and work with us. You need to work with us." So I started working part-time, which was a full-time job, but to me it was a part-time job of a night as a police officer. And then I went to Texas A&M Polygraph School, graduated from there, and became the state's polygraphist here in Chattanooga.
Oh, you didn't tell me you went to Texas A&M. Oh, wow, that's awesome.
A lot about me you don't know.
Well, we're learning more all the time. That's why I'm giving you the whole hour. I usually divide the show into 2 guests, at least 2 segments, but there's a lot to know about Emerson and a lot to learn from Emerson. So, and part of what I'm hoping that this information can get out to a lot of our young people. There's a lot of people, they're right out of the gate, right out of college or right out of school with really big expectations, which is great. But nothing, absolutely nothing replaces the experience, the hard work. And what I encourage people to do, I'm very, very passionate about entrepreneurship, but I encourage people to go help someone else do what you want to do. So you can learn it inside out and get that, that humble giving mentality before you go and start your own thing. And that's what you do. You just kicked off very early with helping other people do what they want to do, which established you a great foundation for entrepreneurship. And I love your story.
And that's a fantastic idea for those out in the radio land that wants to get into business for themselves, is they need to, like you said, find them a job working for somebody else, learn the industry, learn what it takes to make sure that they're doing it correctly, and then branch off and open up their own operation.
Exactly. Because what people don't realize too, that gives you time to earn the trust and respect of others and create and get your own relationships. Because relationships are a key part of the success model as well.
Absolutely.
And if you try to jump out there all on your own and build something bigger than yourself, you're not going to get very far because you can't do it by yourself. And that's a lot more we'll get into about your story that I love as well. So it's you go from, oh my goodness, I'm losing track already. You become a police officer, then you went to Texas A&M. So you actually start a business where you provide the polygraph test and so forth for whoever needs it.
Right.
And then what evolved from that?
Well, back in the early 70s, I started doing a lot of polygraph work and investigations on the side. And I got a call one day from a local company here in town that they needed some polygraph run on other employees for theft. And so I went down and met with them, and I said, well, tell me a little bit about your operation. And they did. And I said, well, who in the operation has the least access to the merchandise that's being missed? And so they said the security guards. And so we started polygraphing the security guards first to give all of the other employees a little more at ease to having to take the polygraph.
Yes.
Well, unfortunately, they were the ones that was involved in the theft. So at the end of the day, he no longer had security guards, and he wanted security on his premises after hours and 24 on the weekend when he was closed. And so I got several of my police buddies to cover that. And every week when I go pick up the money to pay them, I'd say, hey, have you found anybody to hire, or have you looked at hiring a security company or whatever? No, you just need to take this over. So that's how I got in the guard business back in the early 70s.
So it wasn't a major transition to go ahead and start including that's a full-fledged security company, right? That's awesome. And then the ERMC model is that, like me, like I shared with you with my construction business, I recognize that the business would rather make one phone call and have one trusted source to handle things for them. And that's pretty much what you created with ERMC, is you're the trusted source, and you provide services that complement each other to those businesses. Did I say that? Did I explain that well?
Yes, you did.
Mm-hmm.
We started in the security business with our customers, and then 3 or 4 years later, we added the janitorial service, and we added the maintenance service, and then we added the landscaping, and we've since added trash hauling.
Wow, that's awesome. And all those things are related, and they have one trusted source that they can call to manage those facility services for them. I love that. I love that story. And I also want to jump over because I'm not able to keep up with everything you're involved in, but I have been at your venue, the East Ridge Motors, and seen the extensive car collection over there. But you also own Car Express.
That's correct.
Right here at Shallowford 153.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, when did that come about? When did you you sold cars at an early age? Did you step away from that and then come back to that later, or how did that happen?
No, I pretty well kept a car lot for many, many years. Not totally consistent, but for the last probably 25, 30 years, I've had a car lot in addition to everything else that I was doing. We opened Car Express a year and a half ago. Next week, we're going to be having an annual tent sale.
Yes.
We're getting ready for it right now. And hopefully it's going to be a very exciting time for everybody. We're going to be selling 50 to 70 cars at wholesale price just for the tent sale. And
Wait, say that again? You're going to be selling?
Somewhere between 50 and 70 cars at wholesale price.
Wow, that's awesome.
And some of them may even be below wholesale, because we want to drive a lot of attention and people to the car lot. On Saturday, we have Mark Martin coming in, and he will be at the dealership from 11 to 4 to sign autographs.
And he is of NASCAR fame, right?
You got it.
Right. And
great champion.
Nooga Radio here, 92.7 FM, has the exclusive on NASCAR on the weekends. We have a very strong NASCAR following. That's awesome.
Yeah. So we hope to see you there.
Yes. I'm talking to you. I hope Sam is listening. Sam Jordan, our sports guy. I hope he's listening. So we're going to have to do some collaborating there and get by and see you on Saturday.
Yeah, Coca-Cola's brought us a big Coca-Cola van out there, and we'll be serving Coca-Colas and hot dogs Friday and Saturday. So
that'll be great. We'll be out there. And before the first half ends, I just want to say I'm really impressed with your facility over there. I did a tour of the facility, and behind Car Express is your ERMC company. And I was so impressed with the nice, large, clean restrooms. That's something I have to wink, wink. That's very important to women. It's important to everybody, but it's very important to women. That's a lot what you leave. Your impression about a place is a lot by the restrooms. But there's a workout facility for the employees. There's like a daycare room type thing with glass all the way around it, so the kids can be seen. I was really impressed with just the layout with I went in and met some of the employees that were actually monitoring the security, and they were all just like, just really, you could tell the vibe. Does that make sense? Yes. There's a good, healthy vibe there. And we can talk about that more on the second half of the show, but I know that's a lot why you're admired is because of your managerial style. And that goes along with giving, which again, we're going to talk about more on the second half of the show. But we've got about 30 seconds. I just want to remind our listener that to do stay tuned. I'm going to restart the Facebook, and we will restart the YouTube as well. Thank you for joining us there. And this is the Cindy's Choice Show. I'm so honored to have Emerson Russell of ERMC and Car Express, and there's a whole list I could go down. Major contributor to our community, and that's what I like to spotlight here on the Cindy's Choice Show. Collaboration, community initiatives. And stay tuned. We'll be back.
The Tennessee Valley's news talk leader, Nooga Radio, Digital FM 95.3 HD4,